We offer you deep historical information from history on YouTube channel. Subscribe. Now don't forget to turn on notifications. Tour's Second World War Timeline, Catherwood and the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. July 1937, Japan invades China, starting World War II in the Pacific. March 1938, Germany united with Austria at Anschluss. In September 1938, Germany, Italy, Britain, and France signed the Munich Agreement, which forced the Czechoslovak Republic to cede the Sudetenland to Nazi Germany. This was a key area for the Czechoslovak military. In March 1939, under German pressure, the Slovaks declared their independence and established the Slovak Republic. Germany then broke the Munich Agreement by organizing the Bolivian and Moravian Protectorate and taking the remaining Czech lands. March 1939, France and Britain guarantee the territorial integrity of the Polish state. April 1939, Italy invaded and captured Albania. August 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union conclude a non-aggression pact and a secret supplementary agreement dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. September 1939, Germany invades Poland, starting World War II. On September 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany, guaranteeing Poland's borders. On 30th November 1939 to 12. March 1940, the Soviet Union attacked Finland, starting the so-called Winter War. The Finns demanded an armistice and were forced to cede the northern shores of Lake Ladoga and the small Finnish coast in the Arctic Ocean to the Soviet Union. On 9 April, Germany invaded Denmark and Norway. Denmark surrendered on the day of the attack. Norway held out until 9th June. On 10th May 1940, Germany attacked Western Europe, invading France and the neutral countries of the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Luxembourg was occupied on 10th May, while the Netherlands and Belgium surrendered on 14th May and 28th May, respectively. On 22nd June, France signed an armistice, ceding control of the northern half of the country and the entire Atlantic coast to Germany. A collaborationist regime was established in southern France, with Vichy as its capital. On 10 June 1940, Italy entered the war. On 21st June, Italy invaded southern France. From 10 July to 31 October 1940, the Battle of Britain raged. Nazi Germany was defeated. On 13 September 1940, Italians invaded British-controlled Egypt from Italian-controlled Libya. On 27 September 1940, Germany, Italy, and Japan signed the Tripartite Pact. In October 1940, Italy invaded Greece from Albania. On 28 October, they invaded Greece. In November 1940, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania joined the Axis powers. In February 1941, the Germans sent African troops to North Africa to support the faltering Italians. On 1st March 1941, Bulgaria joined the Axis powers. On 6th April, Germany, Italy, Hungary, and Bulgaria invaded non-member Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia surrendered on 17th April. Germany and Bulgaria besieged Greece in support of Italy. Resistance in Greece ceased in early June 1941. On 22nd June, Nazi Germany and the Axis powers, excluding Bulgaria, attacked the Soviet Union. Finland, seeking to compensate for its territorial losses in the armistice ending the Winter War, joined the Axis forces just before the attack. The Germans swiftly invaded the Baltic states with Finnish participation in October, besieging Leningrad, St. Petersburg. In the center, the Germans captured Smolensk in early August and marched on Moscow in October. In the south, German and Romanian troops captured Kiev in September and Rostov on the Don River in November. On 7th December 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. On 8th December 1941, the United States entered World War II and declared war on Japan. Japanese troops landed in the Philippines, French Indochina, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and British Singapore. By April 1942, the Philippines, Indochina, and Singapore were under Japanese occupation. On 11th to 13th December 1941, Nazi Germany and the Axis Alliance declared war on the United States. On 30th May 1942, May 1945, Britain brought the war into Germany for the first time by bombing Cologne. For the next 3 years, Anglo-American bombing devastated German cities. On 28 June-September 1942, Germany and the Axis Alliance launched a new offensive in the Soviet Union. In mid-September, German troops advanced towards Stalingrad, Volgograd, on the Volga River and, after securing the Crimean Peninsula, penetrated deep into the Caucasus. U.S. troops stopped the Japanese advance towards Australia at Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands between August and November 1942. On 23–24 October 1942, British troops defeated the Germans and Italians at El Alamein, Egypt. This sent Axis forces in chaotic retreat from Libya to the eastern border of Tunisia. On 8 November 1942, U.S. and British troops landed at several points in French North Africa, off the coast of Algeria and Morocco. The Vichy French troops' failure to defend against the attack allowed the Allies to move quickly to the western border of Tunisia, triggering the German invasion of southern France on 11 November. On 23 November 1942 to February 1943, Soviet troops counterattacked northwest and southwest of Stalingrad, breaking the Hungarian and Romanian line and trapping the German Sixth Army in the city. Forbidden by Hitler to retreat or attempt to break out of the Soviet ring, the Sixth Army surrendered on 30 January and 2 February 1943. 13 May 1943. Axis forces in Tunisia surrendered to the Allies, bringing an end to the North African campaign. 25 July 1943. The Fascist Grand Council dismissed Benito Mussolini, paving the way for Italian Marshal Pietro Badoglio to form a new government. 8 September 1943. Badoglio's government surrendered unconditionally to the Allies. The Germans seized control of Rome and northern Italy and installed a puppet fascist regime under Mussolini, who was freed from imprisonment by German commandos on 12 September. 9 September 1943, Allied troops landed on the Salerno coast near Naples. 6 November 1943, Soviet troops liberated Kiev. 22 January 1944. Allied troops made a successful landing near Anzio, just east of Rome. On 4th June 1944, Allied troops liberated Rome. 6 weeks later, Anglo-American bombers were striking targets in East Germany for the first time. On 6th June 1944, British and U.S. troops successfully landed on the Normandy coast of France, opening the Second Front against the Germans. 22nd June 1944. By 1st August, the Soviets launched a major offensive in Belarus, destroying the German military corps headquarters and driving from Warsaw in central Poland west of the Vistula River. 25th July 1944. Anglo-American forces abandoned their landing beaches in Normandy and advanced east of Paris. 1st August 5th year, October 1944. The non-communist underground Home Army rose up against the Germans in an effort to liberate Warsaw before the arrival of Soviet troops. The Soviet advance stalled on the eastern bank of the Vistula. On 5 October, the Germans accepted the surrender of what remained of the Home Army forces fighting in Warsaw. On 25 August 1944, Allied troops arrived in Paris. On 25 August, the Free French forces, supported by Allied troops, entered the French capital. By September, the Allies reached the German border, and by December, almost all of France, most of Belgium and the southern part of the Netherlands were liberated. 20–30 August 1944. The appearance of Soviet troops at the Prut River led to opposition in Romania to overthrow the Antonescu regime. The new government agreed to an armistice, and soon after switched sides in the war. Romania's defection forced Bulgaria to surrender on 8 September, and the Germans evacuated Greece, Albania, and southern Yugoslavia in October. On 12 September 1944, Finland left the Axis alliance and signed an armistice with the Soviet Union. On 20 October 1944, U.S. troops landed in the Philippines. 12 January 1945. The Soviets launched a new offensive which liberated Warsaw and Krakow in January, captured Budapest on 13th of February after a 2-month siege, drove the Germans and Hungarian collaborators out of Hungary in early April, forced the Slovaks to surrender with the capture of Bratislava on 4 April, and captured Vienna on 13th April. 16th April 1945. The Soviets launched their final offensive to encircle Berlin. 30th April 1945. Hitler commits suicide. 7 May 1945. Germany surrenders to the Western Allies. 9 May 1945. Germany surrenders to the Soviets. May 1945. Allied troops capture Okinawa, the last step before the Japanese islands. 6th August 1945. The United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. 8th August 1945. The Soviet Union declared war on Japan and invaded Manchuria. 9th August 1945. The United States dropped an atomic bomb on Nagasaki. On 14th August 1945, Japan formally surrendered, agreeing on the principles of unconditional surrender, and World War II was over. We offer you deep historical information from history on YouTube channel. Subscribe. Now don't forget to turn on notifications.